Welcome to The John Show with your host, John Doogie Clouser.
All right. What's going on, everyone? How are you? We are here on a new episode of the Juan Solo Show with your host, me, Juan D. Clouser. If you saw that, you know that was me getting ready for this beautiful thing that I call my show. So, hey, it's just what I do before I start every episode. You might be wondering, dude, is he this guy? There's no way that this dude can be this baked. There's no way this dude's this high. It's like, yeah, he is. He's. This is just what I do. It's fun. It's like, so I give myself. There's 3 times when I usually get baked. So it's, I guess 4. 5 all the day, all time. No. Right before when I write, I allow myself to do it. When I do this podcast, basically anytime I do my art, and some people might be like, so are you one of those people who thinks that they're better, with their art when they're high? Like, no, I don't. I don't think I'm good at this at all, but it makes it tolerable. No, it's just fun. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't really care. I don't judge you. It's, to me, I look at so do you drink pre-workout? Do you have an apple? Do you eat a meal before you work out? Same kind of thing. Same kind of concept. It's just what you got to do to get yourself to perform for the situation. Because I've always looked at my art as, maybe because I played sports all my life, and it was always playing sports was to get me to a good school. Then school would get me to learn how to do film. That was always the plan. That's always been the plan. And then once I learned how to do film, then I'll just do film. That's always, there was never any big, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be, an accountant. I'm going to be, there was a second there that I thought maybe I might go to school for be anesthesiology. But you've heard me just say that sentence. You're like, would you want me to put you under? No. So I moved on. With those thoughts. Moved on. Holy shit. That's actually how I talk. So moved on. Moved on with those thoughts. So, there's none of that kind of thinking here, just that thought. Holy shit. What was that? So this is episode 203 of this beautiful thing. And my dog's right outside my office door, and she has her toy, and she's just the squeaky part has broken out of it. So now when she squeezes on the plastic, it just makes a pop, crinkle, pop sound that that you make when you bite into plastic. Because we all know how that is. We all know that sound, that because we all bite into plastic all the time. Yeah, like I said, it's episode 203. Hope you guys are doing well, doing swell, alive. So I live in Kansas City, or technically I live in Overland Park, which is in the greater. It's okay. So there's Kansas City, Missouri. There's Kansas City, Kansas, right? Separated by the Missouri River. Crazy, I know. So it's one big giant area separated by the Missouri River, which is the basically the state barrier as well. So that's what separates Missouri from Kansas. We're learning a lot. You're going to learn a lot here in a second. And so I live on the Kansas side. So there's so you kind of want to live. So there's Overland Park, which is in Johnson County, and then there's Jackson County, which is Kansas City, downtown Kansas City, Missouri, which is in downtown Kansas City, as well as the area that where Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium, so where the Chiefs play and the Royals play. This is just in case if you only focus or understand sports arenas. So oh, okay. Because most of the time, sports arenas are in the downtown area, which is actually totally because where the stadium is maybe additional 20 minutes outside of downtown. And for what's weird for me, when I go and I visit other cities, when I went to Detroit, and you're walking downtown and you're just walking, and then out of nowhere there's a Benihana's, a Little Caesars, the fucking baseball stadium. You're just like, what the fuck? It's weird. It's just a weird jux versus like in Kansas City. Like in Kansas City, what it is, there's all downtown. There's like the plaza, which is like downtown adjacent. It's like the nice part of Kansas City, like that, the nice part of Jackson County. And then there's Arrowhead Stadium, which is just far out, which is a little bit further out. It's more of like, because there's so much land that they don't need to build everything on top of each other. It was just that was never one of the things. So I don't know where this came from, but so actually, yeah. The reason I'm saying all this is all being said because it fucking snowed. Like it's like a good 5 inches today. Yeah. So I went out today, took a bunch of pictures. I was that asshole. You know, there's always somebody. You just randomly see a dude just walking, and it's snowing, the wind's blowing heavy. There's always one, right? And you're like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that? Why are you out in the world if you don't need to be? Me, I thought I had to take some pictures. I hadn't. So every year, usually when the first snow happens, I usually take a bunch of pictures, and I just haven't actually even walked around this new neighborhood that I live in, and just taking pictures of the area. Because usually when I'm walking around, I'm walking the dog and I'm picking up dog shit. So different priorities at the moment, at the time. So I'm like, this is a good opportunity because like the snow is so high up. It was up to my dog's belly. She's a 12-pound dog, so it's so small legs. You know what a 12-pound dog is. Picture a 12-pound dog. Then picture snow up to its belly. That's how much snow we got. I know it's a great way of describing it, but anyway, yeah. So it snowed. It's pretty cold here. It's like 23 degrees. Was it the game on Saturday? Is supposed to be like -5 degrees and some shit. Oh my god, which is crazy. But it's also probably in our advantage because it was when the whole playoff situation was like we're talking about football now. Keep up. NFL football. Keep up. Come on, guys. Whenever it was, because it was down to like the Chiefs were either going to play Miami or they were going to play the Steelers. And I was like, oh, dude, retrospect, talent-wise, you'd rather play the Steelers just because like the Steelers are not that great. They're kind of up in the air with quarterback. Anyway, J.J. Watts isn't going to play, so it just makes their defense a little bit easier, a little bit more exposed than versus playing the Dolphins. But of course, if you want to believe that the NFL is scripted, it's hilarious. So, Detroit will play against the Rams. Detroit used to be where Stafford used to play. Stafford now plays for the Rams. In the first year he was at the Rams, he took them to the Super Bowl and won. Tyreek Hill used to play for the Chiefs. Now he plays for the Dolphins. Now he's coming back to Arrowhead Stadium for the first time, and it's in a playoff game. What else? What else is there? There's like one more that was pretty interesting, but there's no way I'm going to be able to find this in the time. Yeah, there's no way. That's so fun. I'll keep that up to talk about that in a second. So yeah, fucking football, dude. But yeah, I was thinking, but yeah. That's my new I got rid of it's like when you're playing those the mole game, the whack-a-mole, and like you hit one and it comes up. So like I got rid of but now I got yeah. I got but yeah, or so it's always focusing. You always got to be working on something. You always got to be doing something to make yourself better. And another thing, I think I wore this last week. Actually, I think I wore the the blue version, or like the bluish green. It was like was it more of an aqua, or was that a turquoise polo? Anyway, but polos. If you guys don't wear polo, I don't understand. Life is so much easier wearing polos and just wearing and having nice clean ones, nice pressed ones with nice collars. It's not hard. It doesn't cost much more money. It doesn't cost much money. Just spend a little bit extra, and then all you gotta do is get a quarter pull over and zip it up. Like, you look nice. It doesn't matter if you're going to go play golf. It doesn't matter if you're just going to work. It doesn't matter if you are just hanging out, doing a stupid ass podcast, and you want to look halfway decent. Because my whole thought process, I don't know if I ever, I don't think I've ever, really ever. I don't think I've ever talked about this. It's weird. It's probably just one of those weird OCD things that I have, which is I have tons of them, and someone who means a lot to me saw one of them this past week and was like, "Holy shit! Maybe this is the reason why you get sick all the time, Juan." And I don't get sick all the time. It's just like I get upset stomach every once in a while. My tummy is sensitive. I just have a sensitive tummy. But yeah, like. My whole thing is like my whole thing is like I'm asking you to come over here, come over here, sit down, listen to me talk for 30 minutes. I want to at least look presentable. I want to look nice, and then I want to have like, it's all crazy ass background, but at least it's doing something. At least I'm not just sitting, because you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people who, I don't know if you guys do this, like when you see like videos on TikTok, or you see like your friends like post stuff on like Facebook or Instagram. Do you ever just look at the back? You're like, yeah, fuck my friend. Yeah, whatever. I'll just I'll like it just because you're my friend. And then I'll pinch the picture, or I'll double tap on it, and I'll look at all the background stuff to make sure, like, what's in the background? Let's look at what's in the background. I think of that kind of stuff. So I don't want to, because, I don't want to have something weird shit. If there's something weird back here, anywhere on here, it's because I see everything on this background is behind me. Everything that you see is there for a reason. It's there for a reason. It looks, and that's the whole thing, was like this whole podcast. I originally wanted to, because it was like stupid. It was silly. This is a silly little thing, but was it the Dan Patrick show? Dan Patrick used to, this was before his most recent studio. He had one where like it had a bunch of like random sports shit, and I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like, like a sports bar, or when you go to, like, I don't know, 54th Street. Are you guys used to 54th? But Chili's, does Chili do that? But you know how like there's some of those restaurants like that have all that random shit on the wall. You're like, why is all that shit on the wall? And the thing is, like, someone went through it, and like there's a team or one person sat down, had a blueprint of what the wall is, and picked random shit to put on there for a reason. Everything's on there for a reason. There might be a historical reason. There might be like a funny thing. It might have been like an homage to something. There's everything, all different aspects of it. That was the whole thing, and that's usually why I did all this. I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. It is a fucking podcast. It's just, I feel like this is how my writing is sometimes, because I'm like, la 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 la, and then like I'll get like, I'm on a roll. I am just fucking killing it, and then I'm like, what the hell did I just talk about? And you're like, well, when I go back to edit in about a week and a half, we will see this, and I'll just be like, holy hell, highlight all of it and just push delete. It's a lot of what oh my God. It's like a mess. It's like going into a Taco Bell bathroom. But like verbally, when you see me, like the first 2-3 drafts of like a short story of mine is like, whoa, it makes your eyes water, because you're like, where were you going with all this? Because my whole thought process, as well as this, you just gotta throw shit against the wall instead of thinking about like, oh, how is the person going to get out of this situation versus that situation, and then like what's going to happen in the third act? Oh my God, what's going to be the climax? What's going to be the actual meeting? How am I going to end this? It's like, no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Just get shit down. So if you're talking about fucking the character fighting a fucking pterodactyl on day 2, and then on day fucking 4 he's fighting some fucking ninja, who gives a shit? You just go with it. You just go with it, and then somehow maybe you can you'll take it one way or another, and then it's insane. But what's funny is you do get better at it a little bit. You do get better at like the structure of things, and then I don't know, maybe some of you do. I don't know. I envy people now who can just watch a movie and just enjoy it for like just whatever it is, and just they don't have to dissect any aspect of it. They don't have to look at a film and be like, oh, that's a cool shot, or that was a Dutch shot, or oh, that the camera's moving to left to right. What is it implying? What is that? What's the meaning behind it? What's the director trying to say? Because a director's not going to move the camera unless he has to do it, or she. The director is not going to put something in the shot unless it's there for a reason. So it's like I'm just always like, huh, what? The beauty of it is the people who could just sit and watch a movie like, huh, that was really fun. That character had all those things that he was fighting against. And then he had that pretty girl that he liked at the end. Like, not understanding that, like, that's just like a standard story structure of a film. Is that, you have the main character like a call to action. So he's just a normal person, or he comes from like a place of like royalty, in the sense of royalty of the world, of what you're writing the story in. And then he has like, then the world is about to come to an end, but he's like the son of he's the son of Zeus. And then now he has to go fight and save the world and stuff like that, because he's the guy who killed his dad. It's called that, and then in the middle of that, like the girl that like he runs into a girl, and then like that's like a love interest, and that's like a thing that he gets. It almost becomes like his want. So it's like his sub want. His main want is to save the world, but then like because he saves the world, he gets a reward, which is love. It's just a simple way of telling a story, and then like he has like then there's usually like a montage or some sort of like he trains. He doesn't want to do it. It's hard, and then the wise person, or like the wise man comes and gives him some sort of speech, and then he ends up like going away fighting. He almost loses, then he beats that person, and then there's like something happens, like the wise man gets killed because by the antagonist, and then that adds like more fuel and more intensity to the final battle. And then they have the final battle and blah 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 blah, and there's a moment where like you learn something, and like he almost dies, and then boom, and then he kills the antagonist. The main character kills the antagonist. It's simple story structure. But see, when I watch a story, that's what I'm listening. I'm like, huh. How good he did that. How, like, because what's going to happen. Like, the character's not going to die. Like, through the whole time. That's one of the greatest things about that's the one good thing, like going to film school and learning story structure, is that you don't ever have that suspense anymore. There's never like 10 minutes into the movie, you're not like, oh my God, is the character going to die? He can't die, because if he dies, the story's done. The story's over. Like it's done, over with. Capiche? So it's just one of those things. Like, it just can't happen. It just won't. So you learn that. You're like, oh yeah, and so you just enjoy it, and then you're like, in the second act, there's something gonna happen, and it's gonna have to like, there's gonna be some like something bad's gonna happen, because it has to be a falling action, and then like at the then boom, it comes back up again. It's like, it's just always just how I don't know. It's super easy. I don't know. For me, it is to understand. So have you guys heard about those tunnels underneath New York City that the Jews apparently made? It's a real thing. My friend texted me today. He was like, John, what's up with these where is it? The Jewish the Jewish things. Like, okay, so there's these secret tunnels built by young Jewish men to link synagogues to historical routes, cleansing baths. So I don't know if you guys know this. There's this thing called Sabbath, Saturday, right? So technically in the Jewish religion, you're not supposed to really do anything on the Sabbath. You're literally supposed to just rest. It's because God rested on his seventh day, all that stuff. God had a day of rest. And so God literally doesn't want you to do anything. You're not supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to write. You're not supposed to talk on the phone. You're not supposed to use electricity. You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to rest and then pray and think about like all the things that you should be blessed to have. It's that kind of mindset. It's that kind of thing. It's kind of like Ramadan, in the sense of like, you don't eat anything during the sunrise, like you don't eat anything from sunrise to sunset, and then at nighttime you can eat, and then you have a reflection of like what your day and all that stuff. It's supposed to be. It's one of those things. It's desert people religions, guys. Desert people religions. There's always a level of like struggle, and there's always a level of like you are a pile of shit. There should always be it's like it's kind of like Catholic guilt, but just with sand. How about that? Yeah, it's that's probably the most fucked up way of putting it, but it is true. It is true. So, but on Sabbath you're not supposed to do anything. So you even like you can have like goys, non-Jewish people. That's a slang for a non-Jewish person, but you can have them. You could like a lot. What happens is like sometimes if you're really hardcore about it, or you're going through like a period of time where you're doing a lot of prayer and you just want to like go a little bit harder. It's almost like what I said, like Ramadan-ish for Jews. You can hire like what you do is you have like a friend who's not Jewish would come over on Saturday, and he would turn the lights on for you. He would like run your dishwasher for you. He would do like take your trash from your house to like the curb. So dumb things like that. It's things because you're not supposed to do any of it. You're just not. So there's also another thing too, is that you're not even when like if you go outside and you do anything like that, it's fine. You can go on a walk, you can do a thing because you can do prayer, but you're not supposed to bring anything personal with you. You're not supposed to bring anything. It's just part of. It's kind of it's funny because it's just because you're not supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to have any technology. So like if I were on Sabbath, if I was going hardcore with it, I wanted to go on a walk. I'm technically not supposed to take my phone with me. I'm not supposed to take my phone. I'm not supposed to be able to listen to a podcast. I can't listen to like a tape player. I can't listen to anything. I can't have anything. And like even if I was even hardcore about it, like even like my watch that like would track like my miles, I can't even have that because technically that's technology, and that's like not meant to. That's not it. It distracts you from what the day is supposed to be, and the day is supposed to be you focusing on resting. It's just how it is. So that's just the whole situation. So anyway, there's a funny thing that happens is that like in New York City, prime example, is that there's like this, they have this wire, this fishing wire that goes around the whole city, and rabbis will literally drive around before Sabbath and will look around and see to make sure that it's not broken. Because the thing is, like, if you're inside that boundary, then you can have your personal belongings. So, for example, if I was like in New York City and I was on the Sabbath and I was being hardcore about it, I'm hardcore about Judaism, I could then have my cell phone. That's like a loophole in the system. It's because I'm within the holy barrier, and then you don't have, and then like within that space, you don't have to follow the rules of Sabbath because like you're in a holy space. It's weird. It's crazy, but it's what you do. It's what you do. But anyway, so there's these tunnels. Apparently, just found them. These people just found this shit now, and I'm like, yeah, this makes sense because like we've been doing this for the longest of time. It's probably a holy burial place, and then you do cleansing, because also a weird thing is that like when a woman has her period, a man's technically not supposed to be around the woman. If you're hardcore like a man's not supposed to be around a woman during her menstrual cycle, and she's supposed to sleep in another bed. It's a whole fucking thing. Again. It is Catholicism with sand. It's just what it is. It's weird. It's weird things. And so then, like, when after she's done menstruating, a woman's actually supposed to go take this holy bath to become holy again. I don't know why this is. It's so weird, and it's so fucking sexist in the weirdest way possible. It's just it's unnecessary. But it's also these rules were made when like they didn't know what that meant. They didn't understand why a woman bled from her fucking vagina for a week, which is understandable. So it's like, so they're like, well, maybe she's sick, and so and you know how Jews are. We don't eat seafood. We don't eat like kosher. We try, you're supposed to go kosher, and the reason why this is because like there was no way of refrigerating back then. So like if you eat this meat, you could die. Just how it was. And then like the whole prayer thing, like you have to prayer, like they have to die a certain way. It's all weird. Again, religions are weird. They're good in some senses because they give you like a moral like standing, a moral placement in life. But when you go down, you look at it, you're like, why? Why? There's like, because now, can you? Yeah, you probably can live. You could probably, yeah. Can you play with your cell phone on Sabbath and still find a way to be connecting with God? Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. Why can't you? But it's just, this is the rules. That's what we do. It's weird. But yeah, these Jewish, these Jewish tunnels. I thought it was funny because my friend, I'm like, yeah, like we do that all the time. And it's so funny. It's so funny to tell people about the fishing wire. Because it's just like, what? It's like, yeah, it's another weird thing that we do in our culture. But it's awesome. It's cool. And I'm a little, I just think it is the most, for me, it makes the most sense. It's the most cut and dry, easy peasy, lemon squeezy thing. It's easy to get behind because there's no like a lot of what I don't like about personally, just talking to myself, other people, it probably works for them. It's why they do it, is like I don't like the aspect of having like I have to have like a middle person to have this interaction with God. It was as much as like as much as like I as like, you know, like people talk, what's the way to describe it? It's just that like I don't like that sense, and I also don't like in your faceness about it. Granted, like Muslim doesn't do that as much as Christians do, but it is what it is on that. I just like the simpleness of it. It's just, you know, you do this, you do that. You're not the best person in the world. There's a lot of humbleness involved in the religion, so it's fun. It is what it is. But okay, what else? Guys, I don't have very much. I feel like I just did a podcast 2 days ago. It's just how it works. I always do it on my off day at work. So it's like if I have, you know, I try not to do it on Sunday. Well, it's going to be easier now. I'm going to probably start being able to do this podcast again continuously on a Sunday. Because football is going to be almost over soon, which is sad as hell. Super sad. Makes me really sad because football's the best thing in the world. And then you just like, it's like the only sport I really give a shit about. It's the only, like that and cricket, but cricket is still, it's so hard to get it. Like it's really popular on the other side of the world. And when they play the games are usually at like 6 or 7, like 6 or like, you know, 4 or 5 in the morning, United States time. Oh my God. Okay. So this podcast is done now. I got like 45 seconds left. So if you've gotten this far, thank you. Like, comment, I don't know, subscribe if you want to. This podcast made no sense. But it is like Christianity with sand, just much like Christianity with sand. So, our Catholicism with sand. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. You guys be safe, be good. I got a haircut. I look adorable, don't I? All right.